Hand over those pool keys right now or you're under arrest for trespassing. That's the first thing I hear at 7 a.m., sharp sun, barely up, coffee still steaming in my mug. Officer Brent Blackwood, all swagger and stubble, storms out of his patrol car, hand on his holster, eyes locked on me like I just robbed a bank. Right behind him, there's his wife, Constance Queen Bee of our HOA silk robe, arms crossed, grinning like she's watching her favorite soap opera finally kill off the villain. There's this look on her face that says, some people just don't belong in a neighborhood like ours. And buddy, she means it. All this because my kids had the nerve, the unmitigated gall to use the community pool we pay $300 a month for. Her kids, by the way, pretty sure they've got gills, they're in there so often. But now Brent's leaning in close, I can smell the stale cigarettes on his breath, and it's clear he thinks I'm gonna fold. Spoiler alert, they picked the wrong guy. I've got a very particular set of skills, and this smug, power-drunk couple is about to get a lesson they won't forget. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me rewind a bit, set the stage for how I found myself face-to-face with a corrupt cop in my own driveway, mug of coffee in hand, sleep still in my eyes. Name's Miles Dalton. 15 years in the FBI, mostly undercover cartels, organized crime, the worst humanity's got. I've spent half my life wondering if I'd make it home each night. My wife, Elena, she's a pediatric nurse, more nights than not lying awake waiting for the phone to ring. One day she sits me down, voice barely above a whisper, and says, I need you here. I need you alive. So I hang up the badge, tell the bureau goodbye, and we buy a little ranch house in Willowbrook Estates. Not fancy. 1,800 square feet, but it's quiet. Smells like fresh-cut grass, and the only thing getting shot here is the breeze. It's everything we want for our kids, Sophie 12, Jake 9. Suburban heaven, with the biggest threat being a parking ticket, not a bullet. Weekend barbecues, sprinklers hissing in the morning mailboxes, all the same shade of beige because the HOA says so. I should have known it was too good to last. 3 days after we move in, I'm unloading boxes, sweating through my shirt when this white Mercedes with HOA 1 on the plates screeches up like she's late for a fire. Out steps Constance Blackwood, hair so blonde it could blind you, clutching a clipboard like it's Excalibur. Welcome to Willowbrook, she says, not a hint of warmth. I'm Constance Blackwood, HOA president. We have a problem. She hands me a violation-heavy cardstock, looks like it cost a fortune. Apparently my work truck in the driveway breaks some rule. $200 a day until I move it. Now I've been threatened by cartel bosses who are more polite than this woman. I point out there's contractors all over the place. She cuts me off. Your business hasn't been approved. Then I spot her husband's patrol car permanently parked in their driveway like it's part of the landscaping. Is that your husband's cruiser, I ask? She smiles like a shark. Officer Blackwood keeps this community safe. Some vehicles enhance security. Others. She glances at my truck like it's leaking toxic waste. That's the message, their cop cars welcome, my truck's not. But her first mistake, messing with my kids. That weekend, Sophie and Jake come home breathless about the pool, the playground, the tennis courts. Sunday, we all head down, new access cards in hand, ready to finally feel like we belong. The place is packed, everyone living their best suburban life, smell of chlorine and sunscreen in the air. Constance shows up, struts over in a designer cover-up and says pool access is under review for new residents. She wants our cards right there in front of everyone. Sophie's face falls. Jake's shoulders slump, and I realize this isn't about rules, it's about control. That's when the war starts. Monday morning, I'm making coffee when Brent pulls up, sirens off, but menace dialed all the way up. He's tall, built like a linebacker, 20 years of authority complex in one uniform. Knocks on my door, barks, Mr. Dalton received a complaint of criminal trespassing. Need you to surrender your pool keys now. I step back, take a breath, hit record on my phone. Old FBI habit. Officer, what's the incident report number? He stutters, gets angry, and finally says, this is official HOA business. I hold up our property deed and the HOA rules, spent last night reading every line. Pool access is a property right. You can't revoke it without a hearing and written notice. He backs off, mutters something about the board meeting Thursday, but not before warning me to be careful about causing trouble. Translation, don't make waves or I'll arrest you. The moment he leaves, I know two things. One, these people think they're untouchable, and two, I'm not letting them push us out. That afternoon, I start talking to neighbors. Mrs. Brighton, retired teacher, tells me about the Hendersons left after enforcement visits became weekly. Jim Santos, auto shop owner, stopped talking after the police started showing up about his shed. It's a pattern. Constance marks the targets. Brent brings the badge. Most people just pack up and go, but not me. I spent 15 years taking down organizations way nastier than the Blackwoods. Thursday comes HOA meeting night. The place smells like old coffee and floor cleaner. Only a handful of residents show up. Half are wearing Blackwood for safety buttons. Constance calls an emergency session, proposes revoking my access for community safety. I stand up, ask for specifics. Frank Torres, board member, accuses me of illegally recording a police officer. But Texas is a one-party consent state, I remind them. Recording is legal and I've got it all. Still, the motion passes, but I call them out. There's no quorum. This vote is a joke. As people leave, a neighbor, Tyler Brooks, lingers. His wife Madison is a banker. Turns out they've got videos of Brent doing late-night wellness checks, photographing cars, shining flashlights into windows, all under the pretense of safety. The next morning, they bring over more bank records showing HOA checks to Maintenance Solutions, LLC. A shell company. Constance set-up address is just a mailbox. $8,000 a month for pool maintenance, $12,000 for landscaping. $70,000 stolen minimum. And guess who co-signed the checks? Officer Blackwood. This isn't just harassment, it's embezzlement. That Monday, Elena comes home with a stack of violation notices. Grass too high, garbage cans out, mailbox angle wrong, $500 in fines, all from anonymous complaints. The timing's surgical, all while we're at work. My 12-year-old asks Mom, why is everyone being mean to us? That's the gut punch. My kid shouldn't have to wonder why adults act like high school bullies. That night, I set up military-grade cameras, infrared motion activated. Every time Brent cruises past or photographs our house, I've got it in 4K. Elena digs through the HOA Facebook group, finds post after post where anyone questioning finances gets harassed until they move or shut up. That's not enforcement, that's a protection racket. Then Tyler calls. Madison found the real smoking gun checks written by Constance to herself through fake companies with Brent as co-signer. I print everything, file it in triplicate, and wait. When Brent and Constance show up for their next visit, I'm ready. Security camera, blinking, folder of evidence in hand. Actually, officer, since you're here, I'd like to report some crimes: financial fraud, embezzlement, abuse of authority. Brent goes white as a ghost. Constance drops her phone on the driveway. It's clear the game's changed. That night, buried deep in the original development agreement, I find a clause: if the HOA board commits fraud, the developer, Pinnacle Properties, can seize control of the community. I call the developer. Turns out Mr. Webb's been waiting for someone to find this. Give me the evidence and corporate management takes over in 2 weeks, he says, sounding almost giddy. We meet at his office, his legal team reviewing every document. Monday night, he'll present everything at a community meeting. Not just to the board, but to every resident, live on local TV. Security, lawyers, cameras, the whole 9 yards. No more secrets. The day of the meeting, the air in the community center crackles. Neighbors I've never seen before show up, faces tense, eyes darting. Constance sits up front, clutching her gavel like a lifeline. Webb starts the meeting. Tonight we address financial misconduct and emergency management transfer. The board looks like they've seen a ghost. David Kim, forensic accountant, lays out the evidence. Check after check, shell company after shell company, it's all there on the projector for everyone to see. Constance tries to shut it down. Officer Blackwood arrests these people for trespassing. Brent steps forward, but Tyler Brooks stands up, voice shaking. Your signature is on those checks. You're not a cop here. You're a co-conspirator. Media starts asking questions. Where's the investigation? There isn't one. And then the door opens. In walks FBI agent Lisa Rodriguez, badge glinting, flanked by 2 more agents. Officer Blackwood, you're under investigation for conspiracy, deprivation of rights, and abuse of authority, she announces, her voice cutting through the chaos. Constance loses it, shouting about conspiracies, calling the feds terrorists. Rodriguez just smiles, tells her threatening a federal agent is another charge. I stand, let the silence stretch. Actually, Constance, I started this investigation when you targeted my family. I'm a retired FBI agent. I've got every harassment visit, every check, every law broken documented and ready for federal court. Brent slumps, handcuffed in front of everyone. Constance tries to rally support, but the room is done listening. Webb announces corporate management takeover. Residents burst into applause, real honest-to-God relief. Tomorrow my kids can finally swim. 6 months later, Willowbrook is unrecognizable. Transparent Finance's fees dropped monthly reports online. Constance gets 8 years in federal prison. Brent 12. All stolen money returned plus damages turned into a scholarship fund for students going into law and public service. Dorothy Brighton, once scared to speak, is our new HOA president. Her first act, Coffee with Neighbors sessions, open door, real democracy. Elena starts first aid classes. Jim Santos turns his illegal shed into a tool library for the whole block. And me, I get to sit by the pool, watch my kids play, listen to laughter where there used to be whispers. No more cameras, no more fear. Every evening we talk about homework, not harassment. Neighbors greet each other. Kids run free. It's the kind of peace you can't buy and the kind you have to fight for. So what's the lesson? Sometimes evil doesn't wear a ski mask. It wears a badge or a silk robe or a friendly suburban smile. Power only works if you let it. And justice is just ordinary people refusing to be bullied, refusing to back down. But here's the kicker. If you were in my shoes, would you have fought back or packed up and moved away? Where's the line between standing up and just letting it go? Drop your answer below. Tell your own story. Because the only thing that keeps communities safe isn't cops or committees. It's people willing to speak up when it matters. That's how you change the world, one pool key, one neighbor, one act of courage at a time.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.